I thought losing my ex was the worst heartbreak I had ever feel. Turns out, I was wrong. Because 6 months later, I walked into a cafe, saw my best friend sitting at a table. And the person holding her hand across from her was him. My ex. The one who told me he needed space. The one she promised she barely spoke to. And in that moment, I realized this was not just a breakup story anymore. It was betrayal from the two people I trusted most. My name is Laura. I am 27 and this happened last year. My ex, Ethan, and I dated for almost 3 years. We met at a friend's game night, started talking casually, and slowly built something that felt real. He was calm, thoughtful, and patient, the kind of person who listened more than he spoke. Our relationship was not dramatic. No big fights, no wild ups and downs, just comfortable, steady love. For a long time, I thought that meant it would last. And during all those years, the person who knew everything about our relationship was my best friend, Chloe. Chloe and I had been inseparable since college. She knew every detail of my life, every argument with Ethan, every happy moment, every insecurity. When Ethan and I first started dating, Chloe was genuinely supportive. She liked him, said he treated me well. Sometimes the three of us even hung out together. I never once imagined she would be part of the reason it ended. The breakup itself felt confusing. About 6 months before the calf incident, Ethan started seeming distant. Not cold, just distracted. Texts became shorter. Plans got postponed more often. When I asked if something was wrong, he would say, "Just stressed," and reassure me everything was fine. Until one evening, he sat me down and said the words I never expected. "I think I need some space." My chest tightened immediately. Space? How? "I don't feel like I can give this relationship what it deserves right now," he said quietly. "It's not about you, I just feel lost." I tried to understand. I asked if we could work on it. He shook his head gently. "I don't want to hurt you by staying when I am unsure." It felt like the ground disappeared under me. But there was no yelling, no accusations. Just quiet heartbreak. We ended things that night. And Chloe was there for me through all of it. Late-night phone calls. Comfort food. Long talks about how I deserved someone who was certain about me. At the time, I felt lucky to have her. I had no idea. After the breakup, I avoided Ethan completely. Blocked him on social media for a while. Focused on work, friends, and trying to move forward. Chloe stayed close. If Ethan's name ever came up, she would roll her eyes and say, "You are better off." Sometimes, she would mention running into him around town. "Awkward," she would say casually. "We barely talked." I believed her. Why would not I? Months passed. I started feeling more like myself again. Not fully healed, but stable. Then came that Saturday afternoon. I was meeting a coworker at a cafe downtown. I arrived early, ordered coffee, and turned to look for a seat. That's when I saw Chloe. She was sitting near the window. At first, I smiled automatically, about to wave. Then I noticed the person sitting across from her. Ethan. Their hands were intertwined on the table. For a second, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe it was a friendly catch-up. But then Chloe leaned forward and kissed him softly. My chest felt like it caved in. I just stood there, frozen, coffee in my hand, heart pounding so loudly I could barely hear the calf noise around me. They had not seen me yet. I could have left quietly, pretended I never saw it. But something inside me would not let me. I walked straight to their table. Chloe looked up first. Her face went completely pale. "Laura." Ethan's head snapped toward me. Silence fell between us, like a heavy curtain. My voice came out steadier than I felt. "How long?" Neither of them answered immediately. That told me everything. Finally, Chloe whispered, "It's not what you think." I laughed bitterly. "You are holding hands with my ex. I think it's exactly what it looks like." Etienne ran a hand through his hair, clearly nervous. "We did not plan for this," he said quietly. That sentence felt like a slap. "How long?" I repeated. Chloe's eyes filled with tears. 4 months. 4 months. My stomach dropped. That meant they started dating barely 2 months after my breakup. Maybe sooner. "You told me you barely talked to him," I said, my voice shaking now. "I did not know how to tell you," she whispered. "That's not an answer." She took a shaky breath. "It started by accident. He messaged me to check how you were doing. We talked, just friendly at first." I felt numb listening. "Then what?" "We realized we had more in common than we thought," Etienne added quietly. "It was not about replacing you, it just happened." I stared at him in disbelief. "You broke up with me because you needed space." He looked down. "At the time, that was true. But apparently you did not need that much space," I shot back. Chloe reached out slightly. "Laura, we were going to tell you." "When?" I asked sharply. "After the wedding." She flinched. "I was scared of losing you," she admitted softly. That hurt more than anything. Because she knew. She knew this would hurt me deeply. And she chose to hide it anyway. Then Etienne said something that made everything worse. "I did not want to hurt you by telling you too soon." I laughed, hollow and shaky. "Trust me, this is not better." I left the cafe without another word. I could not stay there. The next few days felt like emotional whiplash. Anger, sadness, confusion, betrayal. Losing Etienne once had hurt. But losing Chloe at the same time felt unbearable. She called me repeatedly. Texted long apologies. Explained she never meant for feelings to develop. Said she valued our friendship more than anything. But the truth was simple. She would already made her choice. Eventually, I agreed to meet her one-on-one. We sat in a quiet park, both tense. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she said softly. "I just wanted to say I am sorry face to face." I looked at her for a long moment. "Did you ever think about how this would feel for me?" I asked quietly. She nodded, tears falling. "Every day." "Then why keep going?" Her voice broke. "Because I realized my feelings were real, and I did not want to live a lie either." That was honest. Painful but honest. I took a deep breath. "I don't hate you," I said slowly, "but I can't pretend this doesn't change everything." She nodded silently. "And Etienne?" she asked carefully. I shook my head. That chapter's closed. Over time, we drifted apart. No dramatic fight. Just distance. Some betrayals don't explode. They fade relationships quietly. A year later, I heard through mutual friends that Chloe and Etienne were still together. Surprisingly, I felt okay. Not happy for them exactly, but peaceful, because I realized something important. If someone can walk out of your life and into your best friend's arms, they were never really yours to begin with. And sometimes losing two people at once makes room for the right ones later. So tell me honestly, if your best friend started dating your ex, could you ever forgive them? Or is that a permanent line crossed? Let me know in the comments. And if you love emotional confession stories with real twists, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might hit even harder.